there. And then we'll go live. Oh, yeah. Stream health is good. And, oh, yeah, we're online. All right. Cool. Welcome, everybody, to my show, Wednesday Night Live, number 12. Tonight, it's mail call. So, just wanted to talk about a few things. Last night or yesterday was the election. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how that election might affect droners out there. So let's talk about that. So the Democrats have taken the House. Fortunately, the Republicans have held on to the Senate. They've even added several seats, which is good. So this is going to keep the Democrats from really screwing things up. However, with the Democrats taking over the House, you might see some more legislation that could affect us drone pilots. Either, I gotta get my microphone. Let's get that over here so we could, let's get that over here. You probably can hear me anyway, but, anyway, they could, seriously, impede our, enjoyment and, business, our drone business, by, bringing forth more legislation to really make it tough for hobbyists and for the drone business. They could, not only you have to get an FAA certification, they may add some more restrictions or things out there that kind of keep people from getting into the drone business, to kind of keep the size of the pool down, because they want to protect their cronies that may be in the drone business. So they will come up with regulations that will impede new people getting into the business. They might do something like restricting what kind of business you have. Insurance. I mean, it could be a whole bunch of things that I haven't even thought of that could really change the face of the drone community. So that could be very interesting to see how that goes down the line here. So with that, just keep on flying, have fun, and we'll see what happens. I'm going to keep flying. I haven't been flying lately because, well, the weather's been pretty weird here in the Denver area. It's been, it'll be either cold or be really nice out, but it'll be really windy. There are so many places that I want to fly, but I've got to go get permission. There are some really cool buildings that I want to fly my drone around, get some photographs and videos of, like the DigiGlobal building which I tried to fly, but security kind of shooed me away. That was a Saturday, and there's nobody there. I'm an insured pilot, but you know, I am on private property, so that's how that goes. But there's a Christian academy that has some really old Victorian buildings that I would like to fly around, and there's also a water tower that I would like to fly around, and there's a radio tower there. So this is a Christian school that goes from, I guess, elementary all the way up to high school. And it is also up a big ridge overlooking downtown Denver. So you get some really good videos of Denver from the northwest side. So that could be pretty interesting. I bet if I get up there high enough, I might be able to get the baseball stadium in. And I believe I'm far enough away from Front Range Airport that I won't be in the airspace there, so that'll work. Still haven't found my drone, but now that fall is here and we've had some cooler weather and the leaves are falling, so as soon as we have a decent day, I will go back out there and I'll take my other drone, Art Code 2, and fly that over the area where I lost my drone and see if I could spot it there. I think the reason I couldn't see it before is I think when it hit a tree, it fell into some really thick bushes, and it was, you know, it was like falling into really thick grass and just getting kind of swallowed up by the bushes. So now maybe hopefully I could find it and nobody else has found it, and I'm just worried that somebody else has already found it and probably has, hate to say it, parted it out, or who knows what they did with it. But it is registered with the FAA. So I got some mail, but before that, let's talk about, I may have covered this in the last show. I got this little mini drone. It's called, let's see if I get it up right. It's called the NanoCam. And it's a lot of fun to fly. Well, now it doesn't fly very well for me now because I broke one of the props, and when I put the new prop on, I think I may have damaged the motor because it doesn't have enough juice for it to lift right off. It just kind of like goes like this and down. But it's the neat thing that I like about this is it's got a really cool controlling unit, and it's almost like a you know, like a PlayStation unit, and it's nice and portable, and it fits in my hand, and I could just move it around with my thumbs, and all the buttons are in really easy spots. You got your speed right here on this button here. One beep for, you know, normal, two beeps for you know, medium, and three beeps for advanced if you really want to take off. And then on the other side here you have your flip feature. So if you want to flip your uh, your your drone, you just press that and it flips. And it also has your trim and stuff like that. The only thing I had a problem with is that I couldn't get the camera to work. Maybe I'm using the the wrong app or something. I don't. So I have one viewer. Hey, that's how it goes. Probably I have a lot of other subscribers that watch these later on. But here's my other neat thing that I got. Ta-da! Yeah, I've got foldable props. These are carbon fiber, and it's got the silence thingy built into it. And these are for the Phantom 3, which is cool. And you can see there's silver and then I got the black. So when I bought these, I thought, oh, okay, I'll get 2 pair. Not realizing, oh, I just bought 1 pair. So I went on and I bought another pair. So I'll have a complete set. And I will do a demonstration with this. And what I'll do is I'll have, you know, the original props. And I'll set up a camera next to it. I don't have a decibel meter. Might be able to find someone that might have one. I know some club owners. They probably have a decibel meter that I could borrow to do a demonstration to see how quiet these props are. And the neat thing about it is they fold right up, and I get put them in my little backpack that I have for my drone, and which is cool. And I know they have them for the Phantom 4 and the Mavics. I don't know why you would need them. The Mavics are a pretty quiet drone anyway. And that's about it. The only thing about carbon fiber, the downside is it doesn't give you any give to it. So it does affect how the craft flies. That's what I heard, but what I'll do is I'll try them out and see how they are. And plus, because they are stiffer, they're rigid, you do not want to get close to one of these while they're spinning. It would be like getting hit with a weed whacker. Maybe worse than that. It could slice you open. So you have these on stand back. One thing I had when I lost my drone, I had the red props on, and I liked them, and they made it a little easier to see the drone. Let me see how I'm doing. Okay, we're having, oh, the feed is not too bad on there. Alright, cool. Alright, the streaming is doing pretty good. So I'm going to switch back and forth. So if you have any experience with these quiet props. I know Ken Heron's done some test test on his show or his videos, and you could tell how the difference. And just having this little doodad on the end of the prop, it really makes a difference. I think what they do is they straighten out the curve, and it kind of softens the turbulence on the end, so that it just makes it quiet. That's So it's just amazing how prop development has come a long way in the last almost 120 years now. 2023 would make it, 120 years since the first flight. And what Orville and Wilbur Wright did when they built their first plane is they got the idea from the wing structure of a gull or a bird, and they used that dimension for the props and for the wing structure. And when they what they did is they built a mock-up without an engine, basically a kite they held with thick string or rope, and they tested it out, and it flew, and they were able to even they made gliders. They tested that, and finally, when they made their first machine and took it out to Kill Devil Hill at Kitty Hawk, they used a catapult system, kind of like what they use on an aircraft carrier, because they needed that. It didn't have wheels; it had a skid, and it had like a track for the plane to follow. And they dropped the weight, and they revved up the engine and got to the power that they wanted, and then they hit they dropped the weight, and that shot the plane forward, and they got to takeoff speed, and they were able to lift off the ground, and that was the first powered flight. And just think, when my grandfather was around, he was only, oh man, let's see, he was born in 96, '06 he would have been 7 years old when the first flight happened at Kitty Hawk. And then I think about all of the innovations that happened during his lifetime. And sadly, he passed away a couple months after I graduated high school in 1979. And he got to see man land on the moon. And unfortunately, he didn't live long enough to see the space shuttle. But he got to see quite a few amazing things. He was drafted in World War One, but did not get to go to Europe. He was sent down to Texas, where he guarded the border down there, because we were having problems with Pancho Villa incurring into our country and shooting up a couple little towns there in New Mexico. So he was down there I think he was with Pershing's group, so they were going, you know, protecting our borders, which we should be doing right now. But his brother Louis went to Europe and fought at the Battle of Chateau Thierry and Belleau Woods, and was uh, injured a couple times. He survived the gas attack and was wounded a couple times. So he's got at least one Purple Heart. I've got a photograph of him with his Purple Heart, his victory ribbon, and his Croix de Guerre that he got from the French government. So that was interesting. But if you think about how drones came about, they came about after World War II, when we were doing atomic tests, and you couldn't send a manned vehicle through the cloud of radioactive, fallout. So we had remote controlled they were called P-80s, and I think, or F-80s. Yeah, they were P-80s, and then they changed the designation to F. So they would send those up there, and they would fly these close to the proximity of the blast to test the airworthiness or the survivability of a jet fighter when a detonation occurred near the plane. And there were a few planes. They had some minor damages, but the problem is some of them crashed in the desert because I'm guessing one of the things that screwed up the remote control was the EMP that probably took out the remote control. So that's just an interesting sidebar on aviation and how drones came about. And then in the late 50s and early 60s, we made a crude version of a drone. I guess you could say that one of the first drones was the V1 Buzz Bomb, but it was unguided, and it just, they just pointed it at, okay, we want to send the the bomb over that way, and hopefully it'll land and do some damage there. So that's probably the first use of a drone. And then the Germans had their version of cruise missiles, where they had a flying aircraft that had a rocket motor on it, and they would remotely guide the missile right into, destroying a ship. And they were pretty crude at the time, and probably limited range as well. But that technology carried on into the 60s, when Boeing came out with the Hound Dog and the Beaumark jet powered nuclear tipped cruise missile. And then later in the 80s, we had the Tomahawk cruise missile, which is just like a V1, but the wings would fold out, and the rocket motor would start up, and then the jet engine would kick in, but it was guided by GPS and ground radar to, and it had in its memory banks the terrain of where it was flying. So that's how that all came about. And now here we are. I remember probably in the early 2000s getting one of those little mini toy helicopters. All I could do is I get the hover, but I couldn't really control it very well, and I ended up crashing it quite a bit. So that there was my first attempt with the drone. So fast forward to the future, about 2015, that's when toy drones and then serious drones came out for the hobbyists and business people came out, and I didn't get into it until about a year and a half ago. I bought my first drone, which was a Bugs 3, and it had a mount where you could put a GoPro type camera. And I crashed that a bunch of times and broke a few props, but I got better as time went along. I did some modifications where I thought I could put, I don't have that camera out here, but it's very similar to the camera that I'm using right now. The SJCAM, it's a cubicle type camera. It kind of looks like a GoPro Sessions. And anyway, I made my own mount, but it was too heavy, and it caused a lot of issues with the center of balance of the drone. I did get once to fly, quite a distance, but it ended up crashing because it was starting to get away from me, and I didn't want to do that. So I tried to land it, and it just was a pain in the butt after that. But that was the first one I got into, and then finally later I saved up enough money, and I bought a used Phantom 3 Standard, and that's what I've been using ever since. And I've had some of these little toy drones, like I had a SEMA X20, and I got pretty good at flying that around the house. The thing I liked about this is I wanted to get the camera working to where I could fly it around my apartment and go into each room, go into the kitchen, turn around, come back out, and go into my bedroom or my office here and check that out. So it was really interesting to do that. But I did find I could get a used one of these for $25 on eBay. So maybe what I'll do is I'll go get another one, and maybe what I'll do is I'll give this to one of the other droners on YouTube that likes to play around. He likes to tear apart drones and put them back together. He's into race drones and FVP, first person view, FPV. So I'll do that, Been selling a lot of stuff on eBay. I've got another Fam 3 standard that I have to take apart because there's an IMU problem. So there's a way to correct that, and that is to, there's that little black box on the main board, and it's held by a clip, and you just pop that open, and it's held by a ribbon cable. And then you just take the end of a screwdriver. Let me or something heavy like that, and then just give it about 3 or 4 little whacks, and that'll knock that pendulum, I guess is what it is, back into place. And that is caused by a really hard landing, and it's like it has a little pendulum inside that keeps the craft stable. And when you damage that or get it out of line, you're not able to calibrate because it knocked that part over to one side and it just stuck there. So you just gotta kind of pop it out of there, and it'll right itself up, put it back together, take it outside, and recalibrate the IMU, and hopefully it'll take care of that problem. I have one viewer, which is probably the person at YouTube that checks these out. But I will try to get some more drone videos out. So let's see how we look on this. So we're getting halfway decent streaming. So got a few cool stuff. I'm still waiting for that drone that I ordered. They said it's gonna take up to 60 days, and that just kind of annoys me. So I gotta wait around that, and it's been a couple weeks since I ordered it. So maybe in about 2 or 3 or 4 more weeks it'll show up, and it's kind of a clone of a Mavic. It's probably more like a Spark, but it's got 1080p camera, gimbal. I like to see how that works out. See if it really works where you get move the camera up and down, and that when it flies and tilts, that the camera stays on an equal plane. So we've been going on, looks like about 35 minutes, which is not too bad. I think we went about this long the last time I was on. So that concludes this show. So hopefully those of you you will watch this a little later will have a chance to enjoy this. So thank you for watching. Have a great evening, and God bless you. Bye-bye. I should get one. Okay. Oh, that's kind of cool. All right. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.